everybody. I'm Brian,
I'm Brian.
and this is Brian versus Brian, episode one. I already forgot.
48.
48. 148. Django Unchained. It's a very special episode in honor of our brother, Jake Bayona. We just recently lost him last night. And this was one of his favorite movies. He was always pushing on everybody who hadn't seen it, talking about it a lot. We're trying to think of something that he really liked, and this is, one of the ones that kept coming up. So this is what we're doing. We love you, Jake. I know you only listened to about 10 minutes of it, so you can never get through one of our episodes. Yeah. Gave us shit all the time, man.
Where's the score? It's at the end. I don't want to wait for an hour.
I'm not listening to an hour of you guys. That was his big suggestion. Maybe we should have made this one 10 minutes. Because that's always what he wanted. And then he could be up there saying, about damn time. About damn time. So, yeah, Django 2012. Yep.
Yeah.
Of course, we all know. If you don't know what the heck you're doing, it's Quentin Tarantino. So you saw this with Jake in 2012?
Yeah, it's funny because I think we were mentioning this last episode. What did we review? Faculty. We were talking about how The Faculty was released on Christmas, and there was a lot of movies in my youth where it was kind of like a family thing. Not every Christmas, but every now and again, it was just like, hey, let's go to the movies. And in 2012, met up with Jake, and him and I went over to Fairchild Cinemas over in Pasco, Washington, and we caught Django at like the, 7 o'clock showtime on Christmas night. So yeah, him and I went and saw Django that opening night on Christmas.
Nice. I don't think I saw this in theaters. I don't remember. Does this have anything to do with that, like 1966 or 96? What the other Django I keep seeing?
I think he just used the name. I mean, obviously the original Django makes a cameo in this movie, but I don't think there's any like connection to the character. I think he just used the name.
Huh. Oh, Weinstein, him and Tarantino were good buddies.
Yep.
Yeah, Jamie Foxx, Christopher Waltz, Leonardo DiCaprio, Kerry Washington, Samuel L. Jackson, a bunch of others. Don Johnson. Mm-hmm. What was his name? Mr.
Daddy or something?
Daddy or something. Dang. So, this movie was good, man. Gratuitous violence.
Yeah. Nice. When it erupts for sure.
Yeah, there's some brutal whipping scenes. Man being torn apart by dogs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a lot of graphic violence, but you should have already known that. It's a Tarantino movie.
Yeah.
It's just a little different when it's dealing with slavery, I guess, because some of it is against slaves. But then some of it is against the slave owners. So that part, you're kind of like, yeah, get them.
Yeah. you feel triumphant once Django, is unchained in a sense. What I like about this movie, what I think most movies don't really, I don't know. When it comes to villains, this may sound a little sadistic, but I feel like when I see a villain and like the villain just said, or somebody says something about the villain, he's bad because he did this, and you're just giving dialogue. But it's different when you actually see a villain commit horrendous things because it boils your blood. Like there's scenes in this movie that have to do with Calvin Candy, specifically the dog scene, where I'm just like, I fucking despise, like it boils my blood. And I think that's beneficial for like storytelling and character, because it just like by the time he goes away, by the time he gets killed, you're like, yes, it's like Whereas like there's some movies where you just get told that they're bad. You don't actually see the things that they do, and I think that Tarantino does a good job of showing you how fucking awful some of these people can be, so that when they eventually get their upcomings that feel triumphant.
Yeah. Yeah, there's some good stuff. Your doctor looks a little green around the gills. For someone dealing in this fighting, he seems a little raw. He's just never seen a man being torn apart by dogs before.
Yeah. I'm just a little bit used to seeing Americans than he is.
Yeah. So Christopher Waltz and Leonardo DiCaprio, I guess, kind of make the movie.
Totally.
Other people are pretty good, but no one is even close to that level on the cast. Jamie Foxx is there. I mean, he's okay. I mean, I almost feel like I could have put anyone in that role. It's just Jamie Foxx didn't like own it for me. It's like I could see other people doing it, but I couldn't, with the Christopher Waltz and the DiCaprio.
Yeah, totally agree.
It was just perfect.
Which sucks because I heard that Will Smith was supposed to take the role originally, and he turned it down for whatever reason. I was like, yeah, Will Smith would have been great.
Yeah, he didn't want to be involved in that kind of. I don't know. He didn't like the message or something. I forget. But yeah, that would have been cool. Yeah, Christopher Waltz, man. This is before Inglourious Bastards, right?
This is after, actually. I think Inglourious came out in 2009, 2009, I believe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So we already get that amazing performance from him in that, and then we get this. It's like I thought he won an Academy Award for this one, didn't he?
I believe.
Or was
so,
it
yeah.
for? He might have won one for both.
Yeah.
He might have won for both. I don't like. Could have been, but it was just amazing, man. Just the cadence and stuff, and like Jamie Foxx saying that he was just in awe, and it's like we're rehearsing I don't think they were rehearsing. Our first day, we got the big tooth freaking wagon. We're rolling up, and he just starts in, "Hello, gentlemen," and I just was like, "Oh my god!"
Yeah.
He's a dentist. He's a dentist, like in that, like Santa Claus is coming to town.
Mm-hmm.
I want to be a dentist and kill people. He's also a bounty hunter. And it's just great the way he explains things. You see, I have a warrant in my right pocket, if you allow me to yes, okay, yeah. And wanted dead or alive. So you owe me $500, Marshall.
Oh yeah, that scene in the town is so good.
Yeah, that's a good. The intro to this movie is fucking good, where it's got the old school theme song, Django, bum, ba-da-da-da-dum. And it's just going across the desert and red old school like Western spaghetti lettering.
Django.
Yeah, it's fucking great, dude. And oh yeah, so he meets up with them. He frees him from his slave owners who are walking him across the desert, or they're just walking him somewhere. Yeah, to sell, right? Because he's got separated, or I don't know.
Yeah.
And he needs him because he's looking for these guys. I forget their names, the whatever brothers, brothers,
Brittle brothers. I think they were
Brittle brothers. Yeah, and there's 3 of them, and there's a pretty big price on their heads. And he doesn't know what they look like, so he needs someone that does. And Django was there with him on the plantation there for a bit, and he says he could identify them if he saw them. And he definitely knows them because was it Big John was the one that whooped his wife pretty good.
Yeah.
And he's there begging. I like the way you beg, boy. And yeah, that was pretty tough. No, they ain't gonna be much happy about this. She's in the house, and she can't have her skin messed up now.
Yeah,
and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're, I don't know. It's a strong. One of the main things levied against the movie was the violence, of course, but that with Quentin Tarantino, I was like, what do you expect you're gonna get? They're all violent. But then the other thing levied against it was the gratuitous use of the N word.
Mm, yeah.
I don't find a problem with it. Um, I mean, I think Quentin Tarantino said it best. It's like, you think I use the N word more than they did in the antiquated South, where the movie is set? You
Yeah.
think my movie uses it more? And it's like, he's like, come on, get off of that. But while he's saying this, he's saying the N word to the interviewer. So that part, I'm like, okay, we're not in a movie
Yeah.
right now. In a movie about the South, I'm okay with it. But
Yeah.
when you're explaining it, saying, and this was on Sway in the morning. He's saying it
Oh
to
yeah,
Sway.
yeah, I remember this now.
He's
Yeah.
saying it to Sway. I'm like, oh shit! I don't think Sway was like, you know what? I was with you for a minute,
Yeah.
then then I wasn't. So yeah, there's that. Take it as you will. I don't
Yeah.
mind it in the movie. I was a little
Tarantino's
bothered by it then.
yeah, when he's modern. Tarantino's. I mean, you watch enough of his movies, and it makes sense when you connect the dots. But I really connected the dots when he just came out with a book, his first like nonfiction kind of movie book, and it's just a book about movies he grew up with, and a lot of it has to do with like he talks about his upbringing with his mom and stuff. But he was clearly, I mean, around black culture growing up. I mean, he had like a father figure that was black who took in black cinemas, and so he grew up around that kind of environment. And I think that in a way, it's like a weird, like he wants to be black, and I don't know how to describe it, but he's just like, I feel like he gets a pat, like I don't know. He's a weird cat, and feet,
Yeah.
feet and
Yeah.
black culture.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't mind it. If that's something that might bother you, then
Yeah.
use caution. Because it is said with some fever and some disdain. Like when you hear Leonardo DiCaprio going in
Yeah.
on some of these things, you're like, Jesus.
Mhm.
But yeah, and I mean, there's great stories that Leo was pretty apprehensive about doing it because of that, and then Jamie Foxx talks him into it. And he says the next day after he convinced him, he's like, "Don't worry about it, dude. We're just property. You're an actor. Don't mean nothing." And then he comes in the next day, and I guess Jamie was like, "Hey, Leo," and he's like, "He didn't look me in the eye. He never looked. He never looked at me again during the shoot. He took that shit to heart."
That's awesome.
Yeah. So they go get the Brittle Brothers at this plantation. I love, some of the stuff, oh yeah, when he's like, he's free, and he's like, "You're gonna let me pick my own clothes?" I say,
Oh, yeah.
"Yes." What will your costume be? And he's like, "You must always stay in character." And then we show him riding up in some Austin Powers crushed blue velour fucking suit with the white knee-high socks and the white frills. Coming in there, I was like,
so
God dang.
So good.
I want that, baby. I don't think that quite matches what we're doing here. Yeah, that was great. What is he doing on that horse? This is a free man. He can ride a horse just as any other man can. Not on my property. And this is when they're with Don Johnson. And they get past that. I love that. Maybe we started off on the wrong boot. Let me unring this bell, okay? And I can't remember what the ruse was, why they were there on that one.
I think what were they doing there? Yeah, I don't remember what they were doing there.
They were there to parlay. I know that.
Do something.
I
Yeah.
don't know about what. We're here to parlay, inquire about such and such. But he was super excited about it after they said it.
Yeah, he's like, I got 5,000 reasons why, and he's like, oh, okay.
Oh yeah,
why don't you come on in?
He calls over the lady. Make him at home. Let's go show Django around the property. Show him all the pretty things.
Mm-hmm.
Now remember, he's a free man. Can't be treated like these others. She's like, so I treat him like a white man? No, I did not say that.
It's not what I said.
Yeah. And then I didn't get the reference, but I think there's like a mentally challenged boy that lives in town.
Yeah.
You know, the little challenged boy who makes glass in town. You know him, right, Johnny? She's like, yeah. Treat him like Johnny then. And I was like, oh my god.
So good.
Yeah, I don't know where he comes up with this shit. He can write this South shit good. All this is like some of the best period piece from that kind of dialogue, but it's still very Tarantino.
Yeah.
But at the same time, being very, 1700s South. It's pretty crazy. So I think they say it's what, like 4 years before the Civil War.
Yeah, it's like 2 or 4 years somewhere around there. Yeah.
So, anyways, he's talking to the slave girl, showing him around. Django is, and he's kind of full of himself at this point, being free. He's like, didn't you hear what he said? I'm a free man, and all this other stuff. And he's got a different walk to him now, and he's got his
you to dress like that.
Yeah, his blue crush velour. So he asks about the Brittle brothers, and she says, "No, I don't know." And he's like, "Well, they wouldn't go by that name, and they would have come by about it, within the last year." And she thinks she kind of might know some people that match that. And he looks, and he's like, goes over there, and he's about to be whipping another woman, the Big John Brittle, and yeah, and it's like you got this scene where he's cracking that whip walk. He's just like walking, and we'll see if you ever break an egg again. I was like, oh god dang.
Yeah. Like,
broken egg?
What the fuck?
One egg. So he walks over there, and John's back is to Django, and he says, John Brittle. He kind of turns around. Someone knows my real name. Sees him. You remember me? And then he's got I love the little stupid little Derringer that comes out of the the little fucking Joker gun. And pops him one. And it's just such a funny, it's like a cap gun. Pop!
Mm-hmm.
And then it's always just one little blood drop like coming out of a hole. Oh,
yeah.
I like the way you die, boy. And then he falls face down. One of the other brothers, son of a bitch, starts tumbling with this fucking gun. Oh, just juggling it. And then Django picks up the whip, and then just comes out. Like doesn't shoot him. He comes at him when he's got a gun, or trying to get his gun, and he's and it's just whipping him across the face and stuff. And he's on the ground, and they're doing some loud, Foley whips. What?
That scene is carried heavily by sound effects because it doesn't look like it's very painful.
Yeah,
with the sound effects, like
it doesn't look like he's doing a very good job with his whip. He's just kind of whipping it on him,
Yeah,
like not getting that. You really gotta twack that thing.
It's
to
like
get that.
2 feet from him, so there's not much like happening there. Yeah,
yeah, and then they help it by like when he's on the ground, they have like dirt coming up from the whip, thrashing the ground. Anyways. And then the Big Daddy comes over and confronts them, and they have to drop their guns, and they have to explain again, hey, we work for the law. I work for the law. The law don't work for me. And explain that those were the Brittle brothers and that they were there to collect the bounty. And they say, yeah, okay, we'll get the hell off my property. So then they got to get the bodies real quick and leave. And I think Christopher Waltz knows that something might become of this because they set up like a Trojan horse. They fill up the cart with like dynamite and kind of hide off in the distance and put it there with a campfire or something, like they're camping out. That's where they're staying for the night. And then we get another great scene with them. Apparently, Mr. Daddy and all his group were, clans members. So now they're all here with the white hoods on. And then we get the Jonah Hill part. I love that roast of somebody where somebody's like, Jonah Hill Was recently in a Quentin Tarantino movie. Quentin called him up and said, "I'm doing a spaghetti western," and he said, "You had me at spaghetti."
Nice.
So he's in there, pretty short part, but it's just it's great the way he can bring such dark comedy and levity to things and everything he does. Because this scene is funny.
Yeah.
It's like, man, I can't see out this damn bag. And he tries to tear somebody tries to tear their holes, but I made it worse.
My wife's been working all day to get these bags ready. You ungrateful sons of bitches.
You see, all I hear is complaining. I'm leaving. We're grateful. Come on. And then I'm confused. Are we doing bags or no bags? It's a raid. You don't come up without bags. It's like, if you're planning on killing these people, I don't see why, which they were.
Yeah.
Why the hell it would matter, right? And then I love it. I can't. Can you see through yours? And there's a sweet guy. Well, yeah, I can see it pretty good, but once I start riding and the hole starts moving around, I can have trouble seeing, and the horse is jostling, and it's hard to breathe. He's just like, it's pretty good. So they mob up on the horse, or not the horse, but the trailer, the Tooth Fairy trailer thing.
Yeah.
It's like a mobile dentistry in the 1700s, man. It's like, come and get your teeth yanked, replaced with wood. Yeah, and so they go over there, and what does fucking Walt say? He says,
"Our feet is ain," or something like that.
Oh yeah. It's what they call a bingo. Yeah, and shoots the tooth. It's full of dynamite. Go boosh. Messes up a bunch of people near it, and Django, I can't remember what he says. He's like, "Whoa, damn," or something like that. And he's just amazed by it, and they all run off. So yeah, it was pretty epic, pretty sweet. And then I think it's like a time jump. It's like after a very successful, what'd they say, winter for them, and getting more bounties. They find themselves in Mississippi, I think.
Oh yeah, so like I think there's a scene where Django reveals he has a wife, and her name is Brunhilde, which makes Schultz be like Brunhilde or Broomhilde.
Brunhilde?
So they go through the whole like German story of the history of the Brumhilde name, and he says, "After the winter, I will help you track down your wife and get her back to you. Not every day you come across." I forget the male character's name in the folklore, but he's like, "Not every day you come across a real life, whatever his name was. So I must help you."
Yeah. So then we get to what did we get to? That's brings us to like, I don't remember, but as in our first introduction. Oh no, that's not it. I was thinking the dog attack happened like as our first introduction to Candy, but no, we get to the house first, right? Because they're going to look at stock when that happens.
Yeah, so they meet him in Mississippi because they find the bookkeeping.
That's
figure out
that's
where.
the first thing we see is the fight.
Mm-hmm.
Like the actual fights.
Yeah, so they find out she got sold to Calvin Candy, and then they have like a little meeting, and he's like, "Hey, you really have to play your character now." And he's like, "You want to play a black slave owner? There's nothing lower than a black slave owner," or whatever he called it. And so yeah, they go meet Calvin in this room while there's a fucking fist fight happening, which is another like kind of awful scene.
Yeah, brutal Mandingo fights, and it's just brutal and visceral, like yells, and he gouges his eyes out or something. And then so they're all celebrating like the fight being over, like, yeah, this is fun entertainment. And you just still, that's what I liked about this, is like you still hear the visceral cries of like someone in pain. Usually that'll stop if at the end of that kind of a thing, to give better audio to the people talking, but you still still hear it, and like, put him out of his misery, please. And then he beats his head in with a hammer.
Mm-hmm.
So brutal stuff, man. All the while building Candy's lore of where you want him to get his.
Yeah, totally.
But for some reason, he's still kind of likable.
Mm-hmm.
Like because he's such a great character. I don't know.
Yeah.
Those are the best villains. Then we have the meeting and all this. Well, I ain't trying to sell anybody. He's like, we don't want the ones you want to sell. And then I love DiCaprio was like, well, I don't sell the ones I don't want to sell. Now that is understandable, Mr. Candy, but perhaps, just perhaps, for the sake of argument, someone were to, let's say, make a outlandish, ridiculous offer for one of these specimens. It would have to be pretty damn outlandish, Doctor. How outlandish are we talking? Let's say, what did he say, 15 or did he say 12?
I think it's 12, yeah.
$12,000? You have my curiosity. Now you have my interest. And I love that, dude. All that stuff, and he's like, he's like, he's asking Waltz a bunch of questions, right? And then Waltz is like, why would you want to know? He's like, my curiosity. He's like, I thought we came here to do business. And then I love, like, Candy's like, oh, no, Doctor. We have not gotten to business yet. Right now, I was asking you about my curiosities.
Yeah.
He's like,
so good.
It's so good, man.
Yeah, even like, Schultz is just like, now we know you don't sell your best. Maybe not even your second best, but your third best? Like, I don't know, his whole speech with that, too, was pretty good.
Yep. So then we finally get past that kind of point of contention, I think. And they're riding to go see the stock, right? What they might have. And that's when we find, I forget the guy, the fighting slave's name was up the tree. John? Something. But he ran away. And the really sad part is like, I can't do it no more. I can't fight no more. I can't do it. And he's like, of course you can. I paid $500 for you, John. I expect 5 fights. Now you have only fought in 3. And he's like, but I lost them all. Oh, you did not? I can't remember what he said.
Oh, he's like, I won all 3. And it's like, the first 2, yeah. But that third one, you were fighting the line between winning and losing. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yep. And then he's gets into him. He's like, you are in trouble, boy. And it's like, who's gonna reimburse me my $500? And they make fun of him for not knowing what reimburse means. And then Christopher Waltz is having a rough time.
Yeah.
So he's like, I'll pay you the $500. And this is when things start to unravel. I think Django knows he fucked up. He's like, oh, fuck, man. What the fuck? Because he has to say, no, we ain't gonna pay you a dime for him because he ain't worth nothing.
Mm-hmm.
But he was just tired of seeing you toy with him, as am I. Trying to cover up the fact that, Waltz is so soft that he would stop this with $500, which is a dead giveaway, and Django knows that. And these guys start to, like, they kind of believe him. They give him the benefit of the doubt. Okay, he was kidding, right? He wasn't going to do that. And so then Waltz sits down, and you could tell he's like, oh, fuck. Yes, I was kidding. That's a joke, right? And I think he gets a song. Candy gets an inkling into this by looking at Django and talking to him. He's like, After he says all that to him, and he's like, so I'll have to punish him then, right? He's trying to gauge, I guess, his stance on the punishment. He's like, yeah, he's yours. Do what you will. And then they sick the dogs, and he just doesn't watch the dogs. He watches Django. Mm-hmm. He watches Waltz to see their reactions. So we know something's brewing because he didn't even care about the the punishment. He cares about the reaction.
Yeah.
And he can kind of stomach it a little bit, or better than Waltz. Waltz, you could see turn away and do all this other stuff, and that's when we get the little green in the gills.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, then we get to we get to the house. What the stuff is, right?
Yeah. I
And
believe
then,
so. I don't think there's anything else really on the road.
And then we get to some more great stuff with what's his name?
Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah.
He's pretty good.
What's his name? Clarence damn it.
Steven, or I thought it was an
Steven.
S.
I think it is Steven.
Steven, something like that.
Yeah. Steven. And he causes a storm. Who is this on that nay? You set him up in the house. In the big house?
The big house?
Yes, that's what I said, Steven. Damn, have some hospitality. These are our guests. He is a free man. He's like, in the bedroom, in the big house. Yes, Steven, did I stutter? He's like, okay, you want to go burning sheets when he leave? That is my concern, Steven, and they are my sheets to burn. You just set up the bed.
God damn it.
I love that. I'm sorry, y'all. Steven is a bit of a character. He's been with me since I was just a boy. He's been with my family since my pa was a boy. And so he has some story like that.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, and I love because he's talked about Broomhilda speaking German, and they want to meet her and talk with her. And where is Broomhilda? She's in the hot box, boss. Why is she doing in there? To be punished, of course. What happened? It's like, she tried to run away. When I was gone, how many ran away?
Yeah.
He's like, two. It's like, Jesus. When did you find her? Early this morning, I found her. And put her in the hot box. How long she been in there? All day, of course.
God damn.
Well, you get her out. Come on, I can't do that. I said you get her out. I know it's an inconvenience, but what is the point of having a German-speaking slave if you can't present her when you have German guests? And just great back and forth dialogue. And then they go and open up the hot box, which is like a fucking steel box that's maybe like 1.5 feet deep.
Mm-hmm.
Then, like body length long, and just like made of metal out in the hot sun. The door shut, and she's just in there naked, fucking, sizzling.
Yeah,
and then
they throw water on her.
Throw water on her, and the water's like, ah! It's like, God damn, bro. They take her back and get her ready. Because she's like a escort now, because she's been defaced by running away with the burn.
Oh, yeah.
So she can't work in the house anymore. So she's like a sex worker for people. And it just gets worse and worse, dude. So they sent her to Waltz's room, and it's nice because she's surprised that that's not what he wants to do. He just wants to talk to her, and talks to her in German and tells her, I'm here with somebody you know, and all this, and a mutual friend. You have to promise me you will not scream. And she does. And, he's right outside that door. He knocks on the bed, let Django know to come in. And he comes in, and she doesn't scream. Good on her. So she just pours her water.
Hey there, little troublemaker, or whatever he says.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Look at you, the gift of the silver tongue.
The silver
tongue devil. Yeah. Yeah, so they get actually, I don't remember them like reminiscing or anything, right?
No, I think they just cut to dinner after that. Yeah.
You presume they did, so they don't show it on screen. They just cut to dinner, and they keep eyeing each other. They're eating dinner, and Steven gets an inkling in that she knows him. You know him, huh? No, I don't know him. You lying to me? Would you lie to me? So he's getting the vibes, and then I can't remember if it's before or after they offer money for Hilda, because they said I will give you, the 12,000 like we agreed, because it's like Django offers 9 for the specific fighting slave, and Candy says 9,000. I could go sell him at the Greenbridge Market any day. 9,000 all day. I didn't even want to sell. You came to me with a, as you put it, ridiculous offer, which now you are trying to rescind. It's like all this great shit. And he's like, you are correct. Yes. Okay. Well, I will give you the 12,000, but 12,000 is quite a bit of money. I have a lawyer. I would like to bring him up before I exchange that amount of money for flesh. We must drop a contract. He's like, yes, okay, I agree. And so we will return in. He looks at Django. 5 days. How does that sound? Well, that sounds swell, doctor. And then I don't remember what
I think Steven is still like trying to figure it out because he keeps seeing them glance. Because before they offer up Brumhilde, I'm butchering her name, but Hildy. Before they offer up Hildy, he's like, hey, why don't we show the guests her back or whatever, just to kind of test and see, which is another fucked up scene. But yeah, because then you get that awful look of Steven just like, I got you, motherfucker. That little look.
Yeah, and it's like, and he's like always shaking, like old as hell. It's like something out of the Boondocks or something, Doug. And then then like his sister or something, right, at the table's like, not here, Candy. Like, no, they don't have many black folks where he's from. He would be amazed their propensity for pain. They are a tough sort, doctor. One lashing on my sister, she would lose her damn mind. She's got about 40, Hildy. Yeah. It's like, God. And he just plays it so well. And that's when Steven kind of catches him. He knows then. And then they make an offer for Hildy, right? It was like, well, since I'm paying the 12,000, I'm doing you such a favor, so much money. How about you throw in Hildy for 300 too? So it'll be 12,300. That way I have someone to speak German to, and he's been setting up that the whole time. He's like, oh yeah, no problem. That sounds great. And then I love Steven comes out later after putting Hildy back and realizing that they know each other. And, it's like, why are you crying? And all that stuff. And like, now he really knows. And he comes back out. I need to talk to you in the back. Candy. Why? And you want me to leave the table, Steven? Yeah. For what? Something wrong with the dessert. The dessert.
It's just white cake. What can go wrong with white cake? Yeah.
What can go wrong with white cake, Steven? Just bring the cake, okay? Yeah. No, I really need... God, Steven! It just gets so... Excuse me, gentlemen. Goes back there.
Oh, yeah. What does he say to meet me in the book room or something? He whispers something, meet me, and then that kind of catches Candy off guard. Like, ooh, maybe he does have something to say. I forget what the room he called, the parlor or something.
Yeah, and then they go in there. He starts giving his his theory. Like, yeah, they're here for Hildy. They're playing you like a damn fiddle. Like, no, they're here for a fighting Mandingo, not Hildy. That's just, he just likes it because he speaks German. No, they were here for her the whole time. Why all this snake oil ruse of wanting to buy someone who can fight and this 12,000? well, you were awful nice after they mentioned that 12,000, weren't you? And he's like,
Mhm.
I was.
Yeah. Damn it.
So then he goes back in there after all this, and then we get one of the greatest scenes of all time, baby, where he's talking about the difference between uh black people and white people. Right now, he has a skull of one of his former fighting slaves.
Yeah, old
It's
Ben.
like, yeah, so this is old Ben. Just plops it down on the table. Now he's going into sinister Calvin mode now.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, he's got these 3 dimples on the inside of his skull. That's supposedly make him not as smart.
Yeah.
Like
The
three,
what?
three dimples, and so see, he will never have the cognition skill of a white skull, which will not have these 3 dimples. I was like, okay, and I can't remember. Do they try to leave? They could tell it's getting heated, right? Is that what they do? Like we're gonna go.
Yeah, I don't remember if they try to at one point the back door's open and that one guy with the top hat has a shotgun. I don't remember if it's because they set up or that those doors open and they kind of react to that. I don't remember the chain of events, but yeah, it's getting heated for sure. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, and then he said, "Was that when he slams the skull and breaks it and says, 'You sit down.
Yeah, hands on the tables. Do not lift your fingers from that table.
I want your hands on that tortoise.'" What was it? Some kind of tortoise? That
Yeah.
tortoise tabletop, and they do not remove from that tortoise tabletop. I will blow your goddamn heads off. Some shit like that. I just love that tortoise tabletop. I better not see them hands leave that tortoise tabletop. He's just mean and everything. Everything he's got, even his table's made out of like 1,000 tortoises. Like,
Yeah.
fuck. Couldn't be wood. No, I like the look of tortoise. That beautiful shell. So then, yeah, he's got the guns on him, and I don't quite remember what exactly that confrontation sounds like. But at this point, we get, his hands bleeding, and notoriously, I think most people know the story. He really cut his hand during that speech on that skull, and he's still going with the flow and doesn't miss a beat. And he's got the long Cruella de Vil cigarette, looking like a baller. Just, so good. It's so good. Yeah, and then I can't remember. How did they come to an agreement to get out of there? Was he offering more money? Or I think he's the 12,000 just for Broomhilda.
Yeah,
right?
I think that's what it is.
That
Yeah.
what the deal was? It's like, you can have Broomhilda, but I want all the money because he knows he had no intention of coming back in the 5 days now. And he's like, "Oh, is that all? Yeah, fine. I agree. Okay." And then I think he writes him a check, right? And then they start to walk out. Now, doctor, deal is not done where I come from until you have shaken the other party's hand. Well, I'm afraid that I will not be shaking your hand because, frankly, I don't remember what he says. I find you disgusting and appalling, and I would never shake your hand, sir. Good day. And then I think he said, well, doctor, I must insist for the deal to be done. No one leaves here until you shake my hand. And then, he's got the guy who played Raiden in Mortal Kombat the second time from Annihilation. The really bad Raiden. Dexter's dad,
yeah.
And if they take one more step towards that tortoise door, you blast a hole in both of them. Or in Broomhilda, I think, is what he threatens to make them listen. And, yeah, so he's like, "Oh, you insist I shake your hand?"
Yeah, you really want me to shake your hand? Yeah, I insist.
Well, if you insist, he does the great comes up, and he's got his hand out like the interview with the tape,
Yeah.
He's like guiding, and then as he reaches towards him, he's got his little Joker Derringer.
Right in the
Right,
flower.
right in the flower. Yeah, a little drop of blood comes out of the flower, and then we get the awesome Candy. Steven going nuts, and then gunshots everywhere. Shit's happening. I think Waltz gets killed right off
He
the
says
bat.
something. He says like I couldn't resist or something like that, and then he gets shot like immediately.
Yeah. To Django. And immediately my first reaction is like, what an asshole. It's like, dude, we could have walked out of here, man. You just fucked up, because that really kind of was the end of the movie. But then you get like almost a whole nother ending where they have to really fight in order to get out of there. So it's like, yeah.
It's great though. I love the setup for all of it, because like Candy's people are getting all the paperwork done, and you cut to Waltz, and he's sitting there, not Waltz, Schultz, and he's sitting there, and he's like reflecting on basically Candy as a person and how much he despises him, and he's using the slave who's getting eaten by dogs as like a catalyst of like, fuck, dude.
Oh yeah, and then there was that awesome speech about
Dumas. Yeah,
Dumas.
so good.
You realize he was a black man.
Yeah.
No.
The white French angry man. He was like, Dumas was black. So good.
Yeah. Yeah, but I'm just like pissed at the Schultz character though.
Yeah,
He's like, fuck,
it's
dude,
like,
really?
fuck.
You're gonna
He was
fuck
so
you
good.
help him? You helped him out so much, took him all this way, and then you're just gonna fuck him at the end, and possibly throw away everything. It's like, just fucking shake the hand and let's leave. We can come back without my wife. Well, it was
tear it up, yeah,
and some more people. We trying to win the war, not the battle, man. You gotta think ahead, man. From a guy who thinks far enough ahead to fill his wagon with dynamite. This is a little out of character. You know what I mean? So that kind of sucked. But then you just get this crazy battle.
Yeah, bloodbath.
A couple minutes. Yeah, just pow, pow, pow. And get some crazy stuff. Then we get Steven dying and all that. And then, what is it? They walk away into the sunset? Is that how it ends?
Yeah, this is where the movie kind of drags a little bit, because they get Hildy at gunpoint, and they're like, surrender, and then they capture Django, and then they kind of take him off, and then Tarantino has a little bit of a cameo where he like,
oh yeah,
and then he comes back and saves
her. It's got like 4 endings, right? Couldn't decide how to end it.
Yeah,
another comeback. That was a bit much.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the Tarantino part was ridiculous.
Oh, he's like playing Australian accent. It's so bad. It's so bad.
Yeah, and he's always got to write himself the most like offensive parts, right? It's like, I know what I could do to calm people of thinking I'm a racist and using the N-word too much. All right, this character would be me. Like, no, man, it's not helping. Yeah, so then he gets her back, and what did we get? Best Supporting Actor at Academy Awards for Waltz. Tarantino won an Academy Award. Won an Academy Award for the best screenplay. That's a damn good screenplay, boy.
Yeah,
kind of sucks to win best screenplay and not like best picture. That's kind of weird. It's like, well, what's the best screenplay, but it's not the best movie? No, it's not the best movie.
Makes no sense.
But when you write it down on paper, it's the best.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely the best.
What? That's why I stopped watching that shit years ago. I haven't watched the Oscars in many years, but yeah. I think Zero Dark 30 came away with Best Picture that year, if I remember right.
That's a pretty killer one.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah, all right. That's it. Happy ending, finally, after 4 false endings.
Yeah.
So, great movie. wanted to watch it in honor of our buddy Jake. Uh, he was a close brother to us. We're gonna miss him dearly.
Mm-hmm.
Our love and support goes out to his family, and there was a big showing of support at the hospital for him. So we're very appreciative of that. And we know he is. We love you, Jake.
Yeah, we love you, buddy.
And we miss you already. Yeah, it's pretty unbelievable. So, as unbelievable as that is, this is the only time I'm ever going to do this, but this movie gets a 10. It's my friend loved it. It's a great movie.
Mm-hmm.
It's a 10.
Yeah, right there with you. Giving this a 10, our first 10 ever in the last 3 years, coming up 3 years. In honor of Jake, so crazy that we saw this together, you know what I mean? Like reflecting on this movie now and seeing that photo behind you. It's unbelievable. But we're going to miss him, and thoughts and prayers go out to his family. I think I saw on Facebook today, for anyone listening out there who wants to help, there is a link on Jake Bayona's Facebook page where you can donate some money to help his family out. I can put that link in our description in the video below. So just look in the description, click on it if you want to donate, help his family out. I'm sure they'd really appreciate that.
Awesome. Yeah. So I mean, if you're having trouble and you're feeling depressed, please talk to somebody. Please reach out. It may be against everything that you feel, but you got to do it, man. Okay? Things could have been so different.
Mm-hmm.
People weren't so proud. It's like, reach out for help. And it's like, people don't know the love and support they have. And people don't know how much love and support they're willing to give someone, sometimes until they're gone. So you don't know what you got till it's gone. But there was some immense love and support, and I'm sure if he knew the magnitude of that, this would have been different.
Yeah.
So we love you, Jake. Sorry it was longer than 10 minutes.
But we gave it a 10, so
yeah. It's a 10 for you, buddy. We love you forever. Please join us for more reviews. We're on Spotify. We're on Apple Music. I don't really care about none of that.
Yeah.
I care that this one's for you, Jake. We love you. Okay? And Jake, we'll see you soon.
See you soon, man.
Bye,
Peace.
everybody.